Good afternoon from Big Sky Country. I'm Stacy, owner of Montana Used Bricks. And yes, this video will probably be going up late again, but this week I don't even have an excuse other than I found other stuff to do than to create a video. Yesterday I spent most of the day putting parts into inventory, finally building my inventory back up, so I feel good about that. Once I got burnt out on doing that, I opened up my Central Perk set and got the first 2 bags of that done before I went to bed last night. And Sunday mornings are usually my chore days, so I've been working on chores. I have a meeting I have to go to here shortly for the organization I volunteer for. It's just going to be one of those days. Hopefully I can get my husband to help me with the food for thought portion of this video. And I'll get to that in a minute. First, I have a little mini rant, and my husband said be very careful you keep it at a mini rant because people don't want to listen to you complain. This past week, I had someone place a very large order in my store, which really got me excited because it's been a slow month, and I was very excited to see such a large order. It was a manual invoice. I thought about invoicing him before I pulled all those parts, but I went and looked and he had 17 feedback, all positive, nothing neutral or negative, so I didn't think it would be an issue. I was so excited to have this order. I got it all pulled in one night. I had my husband double check it. We got it bagged up and I sent him an invoice. I'm still waiting for payment. And this really worries me because 1,000 parts that I've already bagged up is going to be a real pain to have to put back if he doesn't pay. I did send him a message yesterday because it's been 3.5 days since he placed the order and just remind him to pay. So hopefully he will pay by the end of today or tomorrow because I really don't want to, one, have to do an MPB on him since he does have really good feedback at the moment, and I really don't want to have to put 1,000 parts back into inventory. So it's a little bit on me. I really should have just sent him the invoice beforehand and once he paid and then pulled it, but I was just excited to finally get a really big order for the month. My other little rant, because I had 2 things happen, is last night when I went in to look at what orders were out there, I noticed that somebody left me a neutral. And yes, this is probably my fault, but the buyer did not contact me. And I've noticed when it's new buyers, people that haven't purchased more than 10 or 15 times on Bricklink, that they don't contact the buyer. They just leave a neutral instead of contacting me to say, hey, I got the wrong color. I could have done something to at least try to fix the issue, but since I didn't know there was an issue, I couldn't fix it. What really bothers me about this is it was a very small order. It was only 4 parts, and they're saying I gave them the wrong color. So I'm very interested to know which one I screwed up. I could see screwing up a larger order with the wrong color, but when there's only 4, I'm kind of questioning my own sanity now. So if you're a new buyer, feel free to contact the seller. Don't just leave a neutral or negative. Please contact the seller and give them a chance to fix the mistake. We all make mistakes. A lot of us are doing this on top of working 40 to 50 hours a week, so mistakes are going to be made. Plus, we're dealing with a lot of little parts. When you're dealing with 100,000 little parts, it's very easy to make a mistake when you're pulling them. So that's my mini rant. Now I'm going to change the perspective here and I will go into my food for thought video. You gonna stand there the whole time?
No, because otherwise you'll do that.
Well, I need you to go because you're gonna be able to hear the door. Okay, I went on Facebook to the Bricklink Worldwide Buyer and Sellers group and found a couple more interesting questions, comments that I thought would be good discussion points. The first one we're going to talk about is this question that came up. I'm looking at setting up a Bricklink store. Is there a way to identify or scan detected brick colors? Not real sure about the spelling on that. But I think what he's asking is, how does he know one brick color from the other? For me, this was a learning process because you just have to stare and compare a lot of times. There are people that have created custom sheets where they will have a 1x2 or 1x1 plate or round plate that will show them what that color is. For me, it's just more of a learning thing. I do have a couple that I still have issues with, and I have a little cheat that I created. And basically this has the reddish brown and the brown, and then some colors that I often, if I'm just sorting real quick, it gives me an idea what they are, which are the azures, the lavenders, and then the bright light blue and the medium blue. I used to have plates that had the dark bluish gray and light bluish gray, dark gray, light gray, but I've learned to be able to spot those colors when I'm sorting. But a lot of times I'll still do a compare. I'll pick up a light bluish gray to make sure that the part I have is light bluish gray, or if it's light gray. But I've learned to be able to tell a lot of the colors apart. So I think it's just more of a learning experience. But if you are looking for kind of a custom sheet to tell you what those colors are, they're out there. You just have to Google. And I'll try to see if I can find a couple links and put them in the comments, but no guarantee. So on to the next question. And this one has to do with stickered and pattern parts. So when sorting used Lego and you come on a printed graphics piece like this, do you still list them if you only have one? It's a very specific piece that I feel like won't sell, but I don't know. It doesn't belong to any major sets. In my store, we try to put all the pattern parts that we can into stock, along with as many stickered parts as we can. One of the reasons is this helps build up your lot count. It also gives you a lot more variety in your store, and buyers are often looking for those. As somebody who's bought on Bricklink quite a bit, I've been very appreciative of stores that have kept the stickers on the parts, because it's sometimes really difficult to get a sticker sheet, especially for an older set. So it's really nice to be able to buy the part you need that already has the sticker attached to it. There are some stores that just take the stickers off and just sell the part, and that's fine too. But like I said, in our store, I do it more as from a buyer's perspective, because I've often bought parts that were patterned or stickered that I wasn't able to find in my own inventory. So like everything else on Bricklink, it's totally up to you what you want to do. The next question is a two-part question, and this has to do with minifigs. He's asking, as a seller, do you think it is better to sell minifigs whole as they are sold, or in pieces? And as a buyer perspective, do you prefer to buy minifig parts and build your own, or do you primarily search for complete minifigs? My answer to both of these is yes, on both. As a seller, we sell quite a few minifigs. My husband is the one that builds all the minifigs, because it's very intricate work and it takes a lot of time to make sure that you have the right legs, the right torso, the right head, the right hair. And so he's responsible for getting those built. He can create a minifig that costs more than $1, then he'll go ahead and put that into our inventory. If he can't, or if he can't complete the minifig, like he's missing the torso or hair or a certain head, he'll just part it out and we'll sell the parts in our store. And we've sold a lot of both. So it's kind of nice to have that variety, so that you're able to bring more people into your store when they see that you have this wide variety. We also sell, on the torsos, we sell the torso assembly, which means they have the arms and hands. And we've also sold just the torso, so there's no arms, no hands. We've actually sold quite a few of those as well. You'll also notice in my store that we have quite a few minifigs that might have scratches, or they're faded, or they might have a cracked arm. But we will put that in the description. We'll lower the price quite a bit, and then we'll put that it's for play. So if somebody is trying to just complete some minifigs for their kids to play with whatever set that they have, they've actually bought quite a few of those as well. And that's not something every store will do. A lot of stores will just toss those aside. I noticed when I was looking for some torsos that several other stores had done this. And so we just threw them in there to see if they would sell. We figured if they didn't sell after a year, we'd pull them out and quit doing that. But we've actually sold quite a few of those, so we've continued to do it. As a buyer, I have done both. Because I have my own store, a lot of times I'll have everything but like the head or a certain pair of legs or the hair. So I will just buy the part that I need to complete that minifig. But I've also bought complete minifigures when I just didn't want to take the time to figure out what we had and what we needed and if it would make a complete minifigure. So I've done both as a buyer. So we do both as selling, and I've done both as a buyer. I would be kind of interested to see what other sellers do in their stores. So if you have the time, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know which of those you do mainly in your store. Okay, so one last one is just out of curiosity, how many lots did you start out with when opening your store? I'm still pending approval from Bricklink, but should be around 1,200 to 1,300 lots with about 5,000 pieces when I can open. Just getting a gauge on if that's decent or if I need to bulk up. Well, obviously, if he wants to continue with the Bricklink store and be able to get more orders, he's definitely going to want to have more lots and more parts in his store. But I think for opening, that's fine. I have no idea how many I had when I started, but I'm going to guess it was pretty close to this, maybe a little bit more when I started. And I just slowly built up over the years to get to the point where I am now. There are some stores that when they opened, they had 100,000 parts in 2,000 lots. And there's some stores that opened up where they had like 100 lots and maybe 500 parts. So it really depends on what you want to do. But you just have to keep in mind that if you don't have that many when you first open, you're not going to get a lot of sales until you start adding more parts and more variety to your store. That's it for this episode of Food for Thought. Go ahead and leave comments down below if there was something I said you disagreed with or something that you do differently. I would be interested. I'm continually learning as I go. I've been doing this for 5.5 years now, but I am amazed at how much I learn every day from other YouTubers, from other sellers, and from people making comments on my videos. So thank you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you really liked it, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.